Hi.
I'm Joshua Simon.
I'm Kennedy Sung.
I'm Sam Joe.
And we are
The SG Boys.
The new gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at The SG Boys.
All right, in the studio right now joining us, we have Prout. Woo!
Hello.
Okay, what is Prout?
Prout is an LGBTQ plus meetup and support platform for the community by the community. Our goal is very simple. 3 in 4 LGBTQ plus people today say that they suffer from loneliness issues.
Yeah.
They also find current platforms unsafe for socializing. So we want to provide a safer platform. We also want to harness the power of the community and really create that space where people can come together no matter where they are and be able to find a community that supports them for exactly who they are.
Brilliant. And it's spelled P-R...
O-U-T.
Prout.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's
Trout.
Yeah, and it's proud to be out.
Oh, no wonder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so a combination of proud and out.
Yes.
All right, okay, that was Kyle on the mic there earlier. And now we also have Collie, who's in the studio.
Hi everyone, very excited.
Collie, you're from Prout as well.
I am the co-founder and the COO. I also run all the events. I handle the social media along with Kyle. And I do the merchandise store, which I know that you have been a big fan of.
Love
So, yeah.
the Pride mask.
Rainbow mask.
Yeah. For our events right now, we have taken a stop, but the upcoming one is the Queer Trivia edition that we are holding with Aware on intersectionality. So it's not going to be just about LGBTQ plus issues, but it will be about, disability, minority communities. So it will be very powerful education, which we have reached out to a lot of community groups to work together for the content. For the Pride Mask, which we have been producing, all the proceeds actually go back to community causes. So right now we have donated, I believe, close to 2,000 to migrant groups, to domestic helpers. We donate all the proceeds out.
Beautiful. Okay.
So earlier this week, there was a little bit of like a controversy, so-called controversy.
Yeah.
And it was like a chance for, I think, a lot of people to get to know about Prout if they hadn't known about Prout before that. Really glad to have you guys here today to explain more about what happened with the controversy and like what went down and what we can learn from it.
Earlier last week, Royal Albatross actually contacted us on our social media to ask us to share and promote about the event, which we do all the time for LGBTQ plus affirming as well as run events. What happened was that because I'm mainly in charge of running the current channel as well as the promotions, I was a little bit hesitant already, right? Because I didn't know who the company was, I wasn't familiar with their name. But over the course of the week, I saw that the same event was being shared in groups such as, out in Singapore. It was being shared in other platforms like FOMO Homo. So then I got back to them and I said, sure, let's do a promotion. And in return, they gave us like a commission package. It was like very minimal on the basis if we even get any sales, right? But mainly it's just to publicize and share the details. After the promotion went out, they were like, just a curious question. Do you have any transsexuals on your platform?
That was the word they used.
Yeah. They said, do you have any transsexuals on your platform? And I said, what? Sure, because at first I thought like they wanted to reach out to a more diverse group. So that was my first reaction, right? Because you are going to reach out to a LGBTQ plus platform. This kind of question, I give you the benefit of doubt. Maybe you don't have the right vocabulary, but perhaps you're asking because you want to reach out to a different group. Upon further communication, the person behind the page for Royal Albatross said, because we are specifically not targeting the transsexuals. They cannot afford, they only create drama. So, if there are any transsexuals, then maybe you should take down the promotion. And then that's when the exchange, I think everyone would have seen on social media, the trashy transsexuals,
To confirm, they said trashy transsexuals, right?
Yeah.
They say
Their
trans-
words.
yeah.
I'm looking at the post that went viral. It's got over 2,600 likes on the Prout app Instagram. Do follow that. You shared a screenshot of the conversation, and I think when you posted it, you didn't share the company's name, but of course that went out eventually. I don't think it's from your part. I think they also apologized, and we'll get to that in a bit. But just to share, the exchange goes like this. So these are messages from Royal Albatross. They said, the trans community is very small. Okay, then maybe remove them. They are very intense and we don't need the drama, ha ha ha. And they cannot afford. They only want to create trouble. Maybe we are more to the gay and lesbians group. What do you think? Are you getting a lot of negative from the trans? I just don't want to damage my brand. only want like-minded people. We're not targeting the trashy transsexual kind. Yeah. Ooh, when you
I just
read
love
it,
how, like, when you read that out, everyone just, like, just kept quiet.
I mean, it's not our first time hearing it, but I would say it's still upsetting to just hear people phrase certain things in certain ways, or even have the gall to say something
I mean,
like that.
the slur aside, I mean, obviously the slur was not good, and but I think what stood out to me the most was the line about we only want like-minded people. Isn't that actually the opposite of diversity?
Right. Let's reach out to the LGBTQ community, but let's also cherry pick who in the community we want to use our services.
I saw the notification come through on my phone, and honestly, I didn't believe what I was seeing. We were just talking about this event. They wanted to be inclusive, and within minutes of this going out, I get a stream of messages going on.
I had to, first of all, just double check that this was someone who actually had this kind of malicious message and they actually meant it. So it's not someone who's coming from a very ignorant point of view, even though the messages were quite explicit. I remember just telling the team, okay, we hold on our side. Let me do a bit of background research. Let me check what's going on. Upon further research up to their company and what they stand for, I realized that it's not their first time. So they do this all the time. They reach out to members of the LGBTQ community, and then when people call them out to say, hey, what are you actually doing for the community? Where's all the money going? If you just want to market to us, you can, but you shouldn't use things like love is love, hashtag, to actually show that you want to do something more, because the way you phrase it seems like you're making it like a social issue, but it's really not. It's just pink capitalism, right?
I think it's okay if they say that they're affirming, but I think when you start to co-opt certain social phrases, then I think that's a totally different thing, with therapists, they also put online LGBT affirming, and affirming. I think it's okay to say that you're affirming or that you're friendly, but I think the moment that you start to, love is love and all of that thing, then it becomes a bit blatant. And
so it's also a bit weird because then we started speaking to Andy Chua, so the LGBTQ individual who went viral for his W Hotel post, right? So they actually reached out to him as well, and he had a couple of red flags in which he shared it on his network. He knows quite a lot of people who actually went forward to buy tickets for this cruise already. A few days after his post went out, he asked them, hey, why don't I see on your social media? There is no news about this cruise on your own page, right? Actually, when I was looking at their contract, it says the same thing as well. Do not share on public domains. Only share to your personal LGBTQ networks and closed door groups. What is going on? Why is it so secretive? Okay, maybe you claim you want to create a safe space, but the way it seems, it's a bit shady now, right?
it's very DL down low.
Yeah. So Andy actually reached out to them and he was like, what's going on? Why are you not sharing on social media? And they actually said, I will quote them, they said, the general public is quite sensitive, so no need to rub it in their face. No intention of sharing on their page until the event is stable. I'm not sure what the meaning of stable is. But
literally, I mean, don't rock the boat.
And so then I went to their page and I checked and there was no mention of the cruise at all, which means that this is really like a ghost ship, It only would exist for the LGBTQ community. They will earn our money, but no mention of this at all. And someone else that I know also asked them, who is your target market here? Like, who's your target audience? And they actually said, we are targeting, the gays who want a very private cruise and who will not share it on social media. So in
Who would not share it on social media?
In what world
When have you ever seen
A gay who doesn't.
Exactly.
If it's a luxurious experience, I doubt that they would not want to share it. I think they would share it and rub it in everyone's faces.
I'm on a boat, give me my champagne glass, and I'm going to take a photo.
in the jacuzzi. Exactly.
Kyle, when you heard about this incident that was happening in real time for you at the start of the week, what was your first reaction apart from your own emotional reaction, right? But when it came to what do we do now? Do we try to educate them? Do we try to clean up the terminology? Do we try to suss out their intentions? Because Collie, she did a bit of research as well. She went and spoke around with other people to sniff them out, right?
Yeah.
And also that decision to, how do you come to the decision of posting about it as well?
Yeah, and we understand that the statements issued by Prout, they were done by Collie, along with the Katong Queers, and also vetted by other LBQ activists.
Yeah.
I think that what is very important is where we stand as a community group. Our role has always been to not only harness and amplify so much of the effort that's going on the ground, but to be that middleman and to be that person for these companies who maybe have good intentions. They want to reach out to the community.
Yeah.
They might need a little bit of guidance and proper training. Maybe they don't know the right words. They don't know how to reach out. What we wanted to do with that post was to call in and not call out. There's a difference there. When you're calling out, you are naming and shaming. You are attracting the pitchforks, the mob.
Yeah.
What we wanted to do was we wanted to make this an educational post, not just for people watching, but for any other company that wants to engage. This engagement has to be meaningful. So we actually sat back and thought about our processes and how are we evaluating these companies. Some companies will come to us with no track record. You know, they maybe have someone who's interested. Maybe their idea of engaging is, we just give a discount lah. But you will realize that especially within the community, there's so many of us that look to a company's track record. What have you done to partner programs for the vulnerable in our community? Have you made serious attempts to that? And I think these are questions that we asked, that we wanted to make sure that any company that's looking at this knows that we are open, we welcome them, and we want to make sure that the engagement is meaningful.
You were trying to, raise awareness about this issue, but at the same time not name and shame, right? In fact, you blotted out the company's name. But eventually people did find out that it was Royal Albatross, which is why they also had to come out on social media with a statement. They apologized, right? The management apparently is Tall Ship Adventures. So this is all on their socials, it's public. They said that, their objective was to provide a private romantic dinner cruise experience without judgment, and they called it a bad choice of words. They basically said these comments don't represent the position of the company, and they retract them entirely and apologize. Essentially kind of pinned it on this one staff member, I would say, but they also kind of tried to ensure that, we'll be more sensitive when it comes to future communications. And they also had this line, "It was not our intent to exclude any particular group. We are gender neutral and welcome everyone." This apology, unfortunately, I think they dug a deeper hole for themselves, right? Because the backlash was even greater.
I mean, where have you heard the word gender neutral from?
Washroom.
Yeah.
The question whenever you have managing a crisis is always, is it a matter of like your hand got caught in the cookie jar, or do you really mean it? And unfortunately, because there wasn't maybe enough research done on why they had a problem, they misused the term gender neutral, so it felt a little bit insincere.
So Samjo asked if we could reach out to Royal Albatross just so we can balance this conversation that we're having right now. And I did message Royal Albatross Super Yacht and invited them to the podcast. I told them, I'm inviting you with love to come down, have a little chat. Because I think in their apology as well on Facebook, they mentioned, they're going to spend some time to suspend their services to get learned. And they hope that they can speak with us as well. So I reached out, I sent them the first episode, and they replied almost immediately, actually. They said, "Hi, Joshua. Thank you for your love and for your comments and offer. I will pass your comments on to the management team. Thank you for reaching out." They love their emojis, huh?
Yeah.
Because it makes it very personable.
What emoji was used? A heart emoji.
It's the emoji with the hearts all around the face, the cute little one.
It's really interesting that you messaged them and you got such a positive reply, because until now, I'm getting tons of messages from other members of the LGBTQ community who messaged them and then got promptly blocked by them.
You're serious?
Yeah, so actually our social media account is still blocked. We don't have any further communication with them directly other than my direct communication with the CEO. And anyone else who has tried to message them about this issue got blocked. So
Let me get this straight.
Yeah.
They apologized and they blocked you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
And the moment our post went out, so after we crafted a statement and we published it, the marketing person behind Royal Albatross, so the one who was communicating with me the entire time, she actually messaged me both back on our platform and on my personal WhatsApp number. And she said, not so nice to share my message, but at most I get fired. So that's what she said. So she's not remorseful, she's not repentant at all. And then on my personal WhatsApp number, she threatened PDPA, which is a little bit hilarious because there was nothing breached.
Sorry, for anyone who doesn't know,
PDPA?
what is PDPA?
Personal data
Protection
Yeah.
Act.
Yeah.
So basically, you can't release like people's
Oh, I thought she was
IC
gonna.
number or
I thought she was gonna go with
personal
POHA or something,
Yeah.
and then she went with PDPA. Like so, POHA is Protection
of
of
Harassment
Harassment Act.
Act.
So it's like it's against doxing and
Yeah.
stuff. But she went with PDPA.
Yeah. So she said, oh, not so nice to release PDPA breach, dear. And I didn't reply her because I was so confused as to which part of PDPA did I...
Called a PDPA console.
Maybe
Yeah.
there's a bit more education that needs to happen maybe
Yeah.
on the law side, you know? We read
Yeah.
up the terms and maybe read
Yeah.
up the
Kyle.
law.
Yeah. So I didn't share all this because we were not in the mood of calling out. Yeah.
Kyle, I'm so done with you.
But that is the real tea, though. It's
Yeah.
true.
Honestly, this whole situation, right, it was a lesson for myself as well. Because I think Collie brought up just now, pink capitalism. Admittedly, I think I was very for it last time.
Yep.
To me, it just looked like a way to tie in business with social issues. And I thought, if businesses can see the value proposition in it, then they would support it as a whole, and then social will come together with it. So I always thought that it was a good thing. But, now it really has opened my eyes that some companies are not genuine about it. There's a fine line. Obviously, in this case, Royal Albatross had crossed. There's a lot more nuance to it than just saying, like, take my money. And because some people are just exploitative. So to me, that was a lesson learned.
Of course, it's so easy for us to sit here. Again, that's why we wanted them on this show as well, so that they can give their side of the story. It's not like we are trash talking them. This is not the intention of this episode at all. In fact, we want to like open up the conversation. The same reason why you guys posted it on social media.
Yeah.
The invitation is still open. Like,
The
come
invitation is still open.
engage with us and like talk to us. It's really about educating yourselves, and even if we are within a community, we may not be the most familiar with certain terminologies, right? Or certain sensitivities. Let's be very honest, right? Because we have our own lived experiences, but we don't necessarily experience everything that the rest of the community experiences. But it's so important to just really put yourself in the shoes of being very receptive to feedback and constructive feedback at that, and then be willing to participate in the conversation rather than run away from it.
Honestly, despite everything that's happened, I think this is a fantastic learning point for any business out there who is looking at this. This is the case study for what it means to have meaningful engagement. And I think we reflected on this process as well, right? And how we evaluate and engage companies. It's okay to come to us if you want us to help you build your engagement with the community. We have ways to do that. We have strong partnerships with the community groups. The trust and the faith that they've placed in us I'm super grateful. We want to find ways so that these companies can meaningfully engage.
What I love about this chat is with Prout, with SG Boys, right? It's a very organic thing. I remember the lunch that Kyle and I had, I think a couple of years ago. It was raining outside and you told me you're starting this little thing called Prout.
Yeah.
I remember that. The whole process of starting a little group like this, right, with such pure intentions, right? We figure things out as we go along. And then at some point you realize something is not right. You trust your instinct. You investigate a little bit. Now the question is now, where do we go from here? Because I've also worked with a lot of PR people, and I know a lot of them have very lazy tactics when it comes to how they do work. They'll just look at it as, oh, I don't mind gays, lesbians on my cruise. I don't mind. I may not stand with them. I may not walk and march with them. I may not join their pride. I might not come to Pink Dot, but I don't mind. Because it means more people through the door, which means more money. They get to enjoy it. They're probably content with being invited to something they would have otherwise not been invited to. So it's okay. But now with a controversy like this, I have to get educated first. Who's going to educate me? The people in my circle are already not from your kind of people. I have to do so much. I'd rather just not. I just don't want to get involved. How do you then respond to people like that?
Meaningful engagement with the community is not slapping on a promotion and just marketing it to the community, because it is really empty. Everyone's going to be looking at your company and saying, okay, you've marketed this, but what have you done? So I think we see this as a slightly long-term process, where if you were to come and engage with the community, let us find meaningful ways for you to do so. It could be amplifying some of the amazing programs that community groups like Ugachaga, Inter-University LGBTQ Network, Brave Spaces, the Tea Project, so many other groups that are underfunded today these community groups could honestly not have the funds to proceed for another year. And that is the very stark reality of what's happening today. We have so much effort, so many great community groups, but because they are underfunded, they are at risk of not continuing the program. And these are programs that are supporting the vulnerable in our community. Companies who come on board need to understand that these people exist, these people have real problems, and if you want to partner with us, great. Let us connect you with this group of people so that you can impact these programs as well.
Like what Joshua said, if there's so many hoops to jump through, what if it becomes a situation it's like an all or nothing? Then I'd rather just not. And is that something that we would prefer? If you're going to take our money, you do this. If not, it's fine if you just don't.
If this is not for them, they're also not for us. And I think there's a realization that happens for us as well.
Under Prout, we have the sub-community, which is the Katong Queers. So we have me, Ching, and Claudia, and we are currently developing a sensitivity training for corporates. So any corporate or brand or company that wants to get in touch with the community, but maybe, as you're saying, they're scared, right? So they're thinking, how do I, enter these very fragile and scary waters? They don't have to be alone, and that's what we have proved with our events. Queer Trivia Night was a fantastic space for us to connect all these brands that were maybe previously thought to be, not really supportive of the community. But we changed that with our event. So we showed them how to connect with the community. We actually helped them give back. So it was just a very organic and a very, warm space for them to be in. So we are thinking sensitivity training where it's not just about issues related to the LGBTQ community, but also race, disabilities, anything. So it's about being aware of your own prejudice and about your own biases, right? So this is like another step that we can start with. We are a community group, so everything is entirely self-funded, which means that all these programs that we run, the events that we run, they always go back to giving back to the community. Companies, brands who work with us, they should know that the money is always going directly back to the people who matter the most.
We
in
have
this
not
case.
taken a single paycheck since this thing started.
Yeah.
Can we start a Patreon for you guys?
You can send us food. Yeah.
Look, when we started, we had more than 100 backers who came forward and pledged more than $16,000 to support our effort. And we are so grateful that these people stepped forward when we only just had ourselves and our past actions to show and this future, this vision for what we have. Myself as well as the CTO, we have been building a website filled with features that can have people sort of come together, see what's happening in your community, get connected to resources that are from the community.
Yeah.
There's so much booklets and guides out there, but it's really difficult to find all this information. We've put that all together. We've compiled a list of helplines from LGBTQ plus affirming providers all around Asia, so that the platform where you socialize is the platform where you seek help.
Let's end with this. Why did you start Prout?
So this is actually a bit of a personal story for Prout.
Please.
It came from a realization that online spaces today still remain unsafe. I was a victim of sexual assault. When that happened, I didn't know who to go to and where to contact. And my only space that I knew at the time was this tiny little yellow app that some of you listening today may know of. And that was it, right? And where was the community? And it took me years to find that community. For me personally, the goal is anyone who is coming of age, getting to know themselves, we provide that first safer space for them, that they don't just enter into an environment that is, highly sexualized, that may have some bad actors in there. The product and what we're developing may change from here and there, but this is always our bigger goal. This is our North Star.
It's such a meaningful thing for you, and I'm so excited to see where Prout goes.
Thank you. And couldn't have done it without Collie and our other co-founder Waka, who honestly have been the most amazing people who took this leap of faith.
Shout out.
And super shout out. Speaking of shout outs,
What's happening?
we have a special announcement. Some of y'all may know that, we have existed as a Telegram channel for the past 2.5 years. With the backing of our crowdfunders, we have been hard at work delivering our very first web app, which is accessible on web and mobile web so that you can access events wherever you are. and be able to connect with people who share the same interests as you through these events. So you get to know someone before you head there and get to know what they're interested in, and potentially, have a chat with them. Maybe there's someone you can go with at an event together if you feel lonely. We are rolling out this site to our crowdfunders and to also the community groups as a soft launch. For all of the listeners of this podcast, you can also be the first to see this brand new website that we've been developing. So all you need to do is to head over to bit.ly/getprout, right?
Wonderful.
And right at the end of it, you will see this area to add in an invitation code. The invitation code is SG Boys.
Oh my gosh.
So,
oh my gosh.
I got goosebumps. That's really good goosebumps.
So
My goodness.
I mean, we are super open to feedback. We know this is the first time we're doing something like this. We hope that all of you listening, once you send the invitation code, we'll let you know when it's out. You'll be receiving an email, and please give us your feedback because I think that's very important. That's it.
Thank
Love
you
it.
so much.
Get proud, and get out.
Yeah.
The links.
Love it. You already have 3 new subscribers,
Yeah.
downloaders, users now. So, upcoming events, you can join their special intersectionality trivia with Aware on the 26th of November. It's, of course, organized by Prout and the Katong Queers. So, for more details, head on over to bit.ly/aware quiz. Prout is launching their new web app, proutapp.com, so you can get it before everyone else. Head on over to bit.ly/getprout and use the invite code SGBoys.
Stay updated on Asian LGBTQ plus news and events on Prout's Telegram channel. All you have to do is search Prout app and you'll find it. Finally, shop Pride merch at bit.ly/shopprout.
The SG Boys, the new gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at The SG Boys.